Well, folks, we're supposed to be finishing off a Rotel 230 for a customer. It's got amongst its squelch problems, it's got a dry joint, and I asked Mr. Chippy to look at that, which hasn't happened yet, so it's got delayed. We're going to push this in, which is one of my sets. It's something that Alan, our Mr. Benefactor, very kindly sent, and I don't know whether I said on videos yet which have been published, but he's actually sent 2 sets in for repair, so obviously they're going back via an intermediary so he can remain Mr. Benefactor, which is fine. But that's going to be interesting, getting a couple of repairs instead of him just giving us stuff, which is nice. So, he gave us this a few months ago, and I've got a road trip planned today. I'm starting this video at 7:30 in the morning. We're off at 10:30. I'm hoping to get this fixed, some other chores to do, like put petrol in the car. We're going in the Toyota, which is the Toyota Corolla's a vehicle I inherited from my late uncle, and it's at least 25 years old, and this will be the last year we're going to be able to run it. The garage said so, because of underbody corrosion. So there we go. We're going to go to Lancashire, and we're going on buying some CB tapped road trip. So it's quite a quantity of stuff, and I didn't have a good experience when we took the electric car that kind of distance and discovered that the charger we'd got planned to use had the cables stolen. So they were sat there with thick cables which had been chopped off, and then we ended up with something like 7 miles left, and you start to worry, don't you? So we'll take the Toyota today. Right, so this is more or less complete, which is why I've chosen this one. We're going to have to put a fag lighter on that, because we're going to use it in the car. It's got an intact plug, it's got the mag mount, so I'll tell you what, we're going to check this for continuity. Now I've got a Cybernet MX1 emergency set that I bought from my friend Stuart, my radio ham friend. I think he'd acquired it from a silent key sale, and I've shown these more regularly, and I would like to have shown the Cybernet one, but there's one reason I haven't, and that is that the aerial you get with them is the worst range of all the emergency sets we've tested. So just check there's no short. Yeah, that works fine. Just make sure it's complete. It is. So thinking back, we found the best range was on the the best range on any emergency set is the Maxcom 7E aerial. So I think we've had 6 miles. So we're going to a town, and the bloke's got a CB, but he's not got the best aerial, he says. Now that means to me we're going to get less than 6 miles range, but it'll be fun, won't it? Teddy Ruxpin is his handle. So what I'm trying to do is we're going to try and get this video out and edited before I have to set off. It'd be nice if this publishes before we set off. So this is a lovely condition set. I don't even think I've seen a rubber bung before. So we need the appropriate adapter, if I can speak. Start filling this in. 16th, I think. Anyway, it's Friday, Maxcom 7E. So rather than take one off the shelf and use that, I thought we'd do it the hard way and actually do another set. I'll make sure it's X Allen complete kit, because he sent several of these. So we know it doesn't have PA, and we know it doesn't have a meter, Good. So that's made a start. Tell you what, we may as well use this lead, and then we'll later fit a cigarette lighter plug to it. Now these have got high-low power, but these switches aren't anchored in a very good way. There's a lot of those kind of migrate inside the works. But considering the age of this, it's immaculate. It is May 82, so it's a later batch. So I need to find my adapter so we can plug it into the test gear here. Honestly, it makes me wonder where these things go. I have this glass pot with these adapters in. So where is the adapter? Who's pinched it? One of the interesting things we're picking up today is a boxed audio line 345 base station with no main board in it, because some numpty took the main board out and attempted to fit a cybernet board in instead. But you know what, we've got a President CB27 here, and somebody's taken the board out of that and put an audio line board in it. So I think we can, I actually bought in a CB27 main board. So it's a possibility that we'll be able to turn that back into an immaculate boxed base station. I just don't know. I don't know where it's gone. Absolutely stumped. How can that be? Well, we'll have to get another one out of stock. Okay, so SO239 to Motorola / Phono. These are always lossy. I wish I'd put a BNC on the bottom. I think we've said before these are a 13.8 volt radio. So we'll do it at 13.8 volts. Right, here goes. We're on the 3 watt scale, channel 20, and it's 3 watts to the dot. .9 watts, 3 watts. Go back to 20. Go to low power. 240 milliwatts. They're not adjustable if I remember right. I'm sure we can remember all this without the service manual today. And the current consumption 906 milliamps. We'll do the deviation on the test set behind me. Wallow 1212121221 Wallow in case it's lying today. Frequency. Test set's been on about 20 minutes. So it's going to be pretty close. 2779050. So that could do with bringing up. It's dropping really lower than you'd want. Now we'll set the signal generator to the same wrong frequency. So 2779. It's 1 microvolt. Now we can't, until I get a connection to the inside, we can't get a reading. So we'll turn that off for now. One of the dealers at Sheffield has sent me some plastic knob pullers. So although he's aware I use the string method, Mr. Chippy's crocodile clip lead probably even. This is the meter lamp method. I'm just trying to get this out quickly today. You know what they say. I've done it. Don't call me fingers for nothing. It's even got the hanger on this one. Now, can I do this start to finish in 20 minutes? Which way is that wanting to go? Answer, neither. Get quite a big speaker, bigger than you get in most mobile sets today. Right, turn it back on. Let's get that SINAD reading. So if I get my 3.5mm jack plug, which goes to the SINAD meter, and crocodile clip that to the speaker, put some volume on it. There we go. Right, we'll go over to the SINAD meter and get those readings. .84. Put the picture on. I put it in the wrong box now. Obviously I haven't woken up. .77. And 1.45. Squelch. Oops, wrong one. Is massive. It is 4 millivolts. And the threshold is 1 microvolt. Right. We don't do the VCO with no method. It's never been disturbed. I could work out a method if it was troublesome, but it isn't on this. Right, we'll get on to. We'll start with doing the frequency. So we'll go back to the main meter. And check that's not the VCO. So I'm looking for where the reference crystal lives. Yeah, the reference crystal's just down there. So the fact that trimmer capacitor is there, without looking at the service manual, that looks right. Let's put that over to frequency counter. I'll tell you what, despite being 40 years old, the crystal's got enough latitude to trim it up to spot on. Wow. I'll now reset the signal generator. So I say we're going to take the camcorder along to, one of the camcorders along to this road trip and watch me make a wobbly picture of it. Right, here goes. Let's start with transmit. So transmit line is going to be down there. One of these is detector and the other two, one's going to be IF and the other's front end. So we're now on the 30 watt scale and it's reading 3 watts. So we need to make sure these early stages are centered. That's spot on. That already was spot on. Here's the driver. It's probably 3.05 watts. I mean, it's so close it doesn't matter. I mean, in fact it's doing 3 watts and these are good for 6 miles. You know, it may be quarter of a mile less if it's 3 watts instead of 4. It's not, don't think it's a percentage because it isn't, it works in decibels. So this one's capable of about 4.3. There we go, spot on the 4. So, let's see if the channel 1 and channel 40 are something like within 0.1. And it's interesting when it hasn't got a display, isn't it? So if we said that was, this is going to be fun, isn't it? I need some visual indication. So that is, I'll put it on the blooming squelch. So it's going to be somewhere around there. 601, that's channel 1. And it's 4.05. And then channel 40 will be there. And it's 3.95. So that's fine. Back to 20. Check we're on 20. We're not. That was 21. Like my age. Right, low power. So we had 240 milliwatts before. And we've now got 220 milliwatts. I never know why that is. And on back to normal power, it's now 889 milliamps. So we've gone from 906 milliamps to 889 milliamps and got an extra watt. because I've done a retune, so it's drawing less current. And that's the difference. I'm just going to skip deviation because it means I need to use the test set behind me. And while I'm on a roll, I may as well just get the tuning done on this. So we'll go over to detector. So I look at the oscilloscope, put 100 microvolts on the signal generator. I can't remember whether it's that or that for the detector. We'll find out. It's not that. You know what? That was spot on, and it's rare that they are. The biggest thing on this is it was noticeably off frequency. At that level, you would start to notice that it's not right. So that's a plus point. And there will be, if they're brand if they're brand new in a box, they're going to be off frequency because of the age. If you bought a brand new CRT colour television, which was this age, there'd be no colour on it because the reference crystal will have dropped. So it'd need bringing up or replacing. I've got a frog in my throat today. Right, let's look at the SINAD meter. And see whether we can get a bit more out of this receive. It's already better than 1 microvolt, so it already exceeds what the manufacturer says it will do. So drop that to, I'll go to about 5 dB this time. Well, I'll tell you what, that's made a difference. Now that was spot on, but that one was a bit out. Let's just check that in second time. And then we'll do the IF. Which was also quite out. I know I touched it, but I more or less put it back to where it was. Wow. So now we're hovering on the 12, we may as well take some new readings. 0.76. 0.71. 0. No, it's not. It's 1.3. Well, Mr. Tango, that's an improvement. Now, there's 2 presets on these, aren't there? And I think one's deviation, the other's going to be squelch. So the deviation one's going to be that one up there. So if there's one somewhere down here, I really don't have to look the manual up. Yeah, there's one hiding under the wiring harness just there. Yep, that's the squelch one. So I'm going to turn the squelch to full, put the signal generator on 100 microvolts and turn this till it opens. Just like that. Yep, let's put the attenuator on here, so I'm showing you. So we're at 0 and 30. So as I advance that to 100 microvolts, the squelch opens with it on full. So, now we'll redo the sensitive end. Just make sure I didn't knock that when I didn't. When I took the trimmer tool out, with it being on an angle stuck under there. So we'll drop the squelch, set threshold, switch the signal generator back on, parks at 0.3 of a microvolt. It's now 0.81. That's lovely. Well, as far as I can see, it just leaves us to do the deviation. So I'll unplug this from this test set. As I say, the deviation meter on this can be unreliable. It needs the capacitors doing, and I'm too close to retirement to bother. Especially when we've got 6 test sets. Just put it to another bench. Now I don't need to connect that anymore, so I can lose that. I'm going to have to pick this up and walk kind of so I can see the other meter. Let's see what that deviation is. What? Do you know what? It's about 2.3. So it just wants the tiniest adjustment. So it's the preset. Wallow. That's it. So that was pretty spot on as it was. So switch that test set off. Connect back up to the Marconi, and we'll see what the Marconi says the deviation is, whether it's lying today. Wallow, it's lying today. It says it's 1.6. So it was 2. It was 1.9 to 2.2, so it was actually fine. And we've now set it for 2.2 to 2.5. There we are, we're done. And this needs to put a cigarette lighter plug on that. But we can be putting this back together. So I think with it being a bit off frequency, it wouldn't have been as nice as it could be. But to be able to bring the receiver up is fantastic. Just turn the power off because I've rested it on its front and it's gone into transmit. So you now know there is a Cybernet ZX1 queuing, but because it's one of our sets, we've got about 4 repairs to do. There's 2 for Alan, but before that there's Roto 230 I've been on for about 3 days. On and off. And what else did he say? Oh, in Maxcom 30E. We need to put that back so that it says points to 20, which it now does. I won't be surprised if these aren't the same as the Cobra 21X FM knobs. Things that came out of the same Maxcom factory. Maxon factory. Right, we'll just check. I just want to check it's still somewhere like on frequency. Yep. And so I know I've got the knob back in the right place. So we'll withdraw that and put it on the roof aerial. I haven't got a clock here, so we're probably now about 8:15. I don't know whether the bad buddies are out of bed yet. Still warming the burners up. That's 19. I mean, how How dead's that? 2019. There's no change of noise. You'd think the area was open circuit. 19 Roger. 19 anybody for a quick rig check? Now, I know this is going out for 35 miles in that direction. Nothing. And you'd think with there not being anybody on that somebody more distant would hear me. At least it changes channel instantly and it's not turn, wait, turn, wait, turn, wait. One Anna Roger. No. Well, that was a good demonstration, wasn't it? I'm just going to do a cigarette lighter plug and then we'll wrap this up. So these are the more expensive type of cigarette lighter plug with an LED in them, so at least you know the thing's plugged in, which can be an iffy situation. I wouldn't normally, I'd use a cheaper one, but I've forgotten where we've put them, and I know we've got about 20 in stock. There you go. Mr. Chippy's not here at this point, so no. Never use an expensive one on my own gear. I think we have to take this end out and the fuse. Probably going to take longer to do this than the whole of the tune-up. So how does this work? Oh right, you assemble it from this way. This is one of those where only one side connects to the power in the vehicle, because the other side is doing the LED. So it's like that. So, well, no, I'll tell you what, we'll take it to the LED side. That's the easiest way to do it. Well, we've got 2.2k in there. Right. I'll need to really anchor this with a tie wrap, won't I? Put the cable strain relief on. Nothing worse than doing a decent job and then you've forgotten to do that. So basically we want the negative to there. It doesn't actually need cutting, does it? The wire's going to be right. I'm just going to tin that just in case it's old solder. I've got a power supply that Alan sent. As a gift, and we've got Radio Club meeting on Saturday, so I think we're going to make a start looking at that at the Radio Club together. So if I solder that to there, that to there. Make sure we're on the screen. I'll try and see the monitor, but this blooming flat screen monitor, rubbish viewing angle. I've got some Sony 9-inch CRT monitors, which were hundreds and hundreds of pounds when I bought them, and the trouble is they're not HDMI, so, and this mixer's HDMI, so, you know, there's other things to do, aren't there? Right, so we've done that. I'll go and fetch a tie wrap, so we've got some kind of security. If this was for a customer, we'd probably put some hot glue in this as well. Right, assemble the rest of it. I think that's all we need to put together until we put the lid on. So if you've got these, it's the LED side that stays face down on your bench. Well, I'll tell you what, so far so good. I've actually put that back together. And it looks like you can put the screw through from either side because the nut is captive either way. Just use the wrong screwdriver. See what the fuse is. Well, that's not ideal at 5 amps, but we've got another fuse in here, which I'll just check. That's 2 amps, that's better. Now, something to watch here, and that is, when it's been soldered, it's a bit tarnished in there with the flux. I'm just going to do a scrape. We'd normally run over these with a file, again if it was for a customer, but don't want to wreck the lead because he's made a nice job of it. Whoever's made that up. Right, so whichever end makes it light up, I think it's going to be that way. No, it's not. It's that way. So, are we in picture? There we are now. Still nobody on 19. So don't make the rookie mistake of soldering to the other side of the diode and you end up only getting about 3 volts coming through to the radio, and then you're scratching your head as to why it's not working right. We have seen that, and anybody can make an error like that, but there we are. So, well, we have this set. We're ready to go. Put it back in its suitcase. Put the adapter back in the glass thing. Turn the test gear off. And Lancashire, here we come. Oh, why do I have to use an emergency? Yeah, there's no CB in the Toyota. There's a ham set for 77, so I'll be able to use our repeater for, well, most of the way, to be honest. I've not put it in the nappy, have I? Thought it went in there pretty easily. They came with a piece of foam rubber. I think just since we're going to transport it, there's a bit of stuff there that's come out of a repair. Right, I mean that carpet tape job's quite nice as well, because they do split. So that's made a nice set. Thanks very much, Alan. And we'll get on our road trip. Thanks for watching.